Good afternoon, class. My name is Anthony Lopez. Today I will be discussing the importance of gun safety. So first and foremost, the reason that I chose this topic is because according to the U.S. Census of 2020, there's an estimated 331 million American citizens. According to gunpolicy.org, there's an estimated 390 million firearms inside the U.S. So basic, real quick math, that means there's roughly 60,000 more firearms than there are U.S. citizens. So even if you don't own a firearm, there's a good chance that somebody you know does own a firearm. And after listening to this speech, if that individual doesn't know the basic weapon safety rules that apply to owning a firearm, then you can teach them something. So let's begin with discussing that according to the Educational Fund at StopGunViolence.org, annually, there are 27,000 Americans admitted to the ER every single year because of an accidental gun injury. If they were to listen to this speech and they understood the basic weapon safety rules, then there's a extremely good chance that that number of 27,000 would diminish to, I don't know, maybe 1,000. Just kind of hearsay. But let's get started. So we have your basic AR-15 kind of setup. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy about it. So the first weapon safety rule: treat every weapon as if it were loaded. This weapon is not loaded. Checked it. I'll double check it. There's no round in the chamber. Treat every weapon as if it were loaded. So coming up to a weapon, whether it be a pistol, rifle, shotgun, whatever the case is, if you come up to the weapon and you treat it as if it were loaded, you're going to have much more respect for that weapon, and you'll be more accustomed and aware of what you're doing with it. All right, so treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Safety rule number 2, never point a weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. That is kind of basic. I know a lot of injuries happen because people think that there's no round inside the chamber and they might be pointing it at a friend and squeeze the trigger and it goes boom, and next thing you know, you're calling 911 because you accidentally just shot one of your friends. So never point your weapon at anything you do not intend to shoot. Weapon safety rule number 3, keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you are ready to fire. So here's the trigger. Anytime you grab it, if you keep your finger straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire, there's absolutely no way that something could pull this trigger back and cause a round to fire out of the barrel if your fingers straighten off it until you are ready to fire. Absolutely no way. The last weapon safety rule is keep your weapon on safe until you intend to fire. Here's the safety. Right now it's on safe position. This is the semi or the fire position. So by keeping it on safe, even if you did forget about that third weapon safety rule, which was keep your finger straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire, and you squeezed, nothing would happen because the safety is on. So just by knowing and understanding those 4 basic weapon safety rules, in order to have a negligent discharge, you have to violate 2 out of those 4 rules to accidentally set a round off to this gun. So that's roughly, 50% of the 4 rules have to be violated in order for you to have an accident with this weapon. Furthermore, if people understood, especially gun owners understood that there's weapons conditions, that would also, which kind of goes hand in hand with safety rule number 1, which was treat every weapon as if it were loaded. If everyone understood what the weapons conditions were, it would be a lot easier for them to be able to manipulate the gun and keep it safe when it needs to be safe. So right now we have this weapon system in condition 4, which means there's no magazine inserted, the bolt is forward, the weapon is on safe, and there is no round inside the chamber. So there's absolutely no way that this weapon can go off right now because it's empty, there's no rounds. We have weapons condition number 3, which is introducing the magazine with your rounds. So by inserting the magazine, that still makes it to where the weapon still cannot fire, because just because the magazine is inserted does not mean that there is a round inside the chamber. So condition 3 is magazine inserted, bolt forward, no round in chamber, weapon on safe. Condition 2 does not apply to this specific gun. It doesn't apply to very many semi-automatic weapons. It applies to a couple different machine guns, a couple different revolvers, but we're not discussing that today. So Condition 2 does not apply. Condition 1. Here is the biggest transition in your weapons conditions. So we went from Condition 4, which was no magazine. Condition 3, insert the magazine. Condition 2 doesn't apply. And we're going to go to Condition 1, which is round and chamber. So in order to put the round in the chamber, you have to basically rack the bolt back, let it go. The bolt will grab around and put it inside the chamber, like so. So now there is condition number 1, which is magazine inserted. The bolt is forward, there's a round inside the chamber, and the weapon is on safe. So at this point, in order to utilize a gun, all you need to do is take the weapon off safe and engage your target properly. But according to the weapon safety rules, in order to prevent an accident, you have to violate 2 of those rules in order to prevent or to cause an accident. So by following those 4 weapon safety rules, there's no way that this gun can fire on its own. It is absolutely safe to go anywhere in the exact form that it's in. Again, follow those 4 weapon safety rules and everything will be fine. I pulled this information of the 4 weapon safety rules from the Marine Corps doctrinal publication number 1, Warfighting, that teaches you anything you need to know about the weapon system and the weapon safety rules, as well as the weapons conditions. Other than that, just knowing the basic rules can help, especially those 27,000 that are admitted into an ER annually, can help them out, as well as you, a friend, a relative, and generally just keep the public safe from gun violence and accidental gun accidents. So thank you very much and have a good day.